You guys remember that part?
Wait, was this at the ending of the second episode?
Is this post credits or right into it?
I think it might have
Yeah.
been episode 3.
See, that's why I
This
refrained.
motherfucker
Yeah.
watching the wrong guy. He's watching too much.
My
Getting ahead of
bad.
us.
Yeah, that's
Thanks
why.
for spoiling
It
episode
was on my
1.
mind.
That was such an important.
All right, what is up, everybody? This is session 2 of Weeb the People podcast.
Actually, it's session 3.
Oh, are you going
It's
to do
confusing
this again?
because he doesn't consider the introduction session as session 1. And
Oh,
since
okay.
I do the post production and put the credits in there, it's session 3.
okay. I did clarify last week that moving forward, we were going to refer to it as, like, for continuity's sake, it would be session 3. So that was my bad.
It feels
all
like
fun and
session
games.
20 right now with all the audio troubleshooting stuff. Man.
Don't worry, subscribers will get all kinds of BTS content
Well,
in the future.
it
Near
seems
future.
like the consensus is the audio engineering issues are always the hardest part of podcasting and just
Yeah.
recording in general, and then post-production, obviously.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we're
people
making
think
it
that
work.
Recording it is the hard part. Like, recording
Bro,
it
this is easy. We're just being
Yeah.
weebs and talking to you.
It's a lot of fun. Like, just
Oh,
recording
yeah.
it. But
If you have chemistry between the hosts on the podcast,
Mhm.
it's. If you saw our notes, you would be like, "That's it. You can talk for 2 hours on those. On just that. That's not a script. Yeah, it's cake.
yeah.
We accept the challenge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, no,
It's not a challenge. Is what
I
it's-
think you mentioned this during when we got the reception for our first podcast, and I think the reason that people really enjoyed our content was, one, we're extremely enthusiastic about the topics that we're talking
We're
about,
fucking weebs.
and then the conversation is also extremely organic, right?
Yeah.
It's not like we're just reading off of a script, which,
Maji.
you know, I mean, I'm sure, you know, I'm not bagging on people that do it, but I don't
It's
know.
not a good way to go about podcasting.
Yeah. Folks
Uh,
just like
That realism.
watching people.
Yeah, I
having
mean,
organic
there's
conversations.
audiobooks for scripts, right? But speaking of us and who we are Weeb the People. I am host Cars, and beside me is
Jay, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Kenny, right here. How you guys doing?
Kenny B, once
I'm
again,
good.
not Killer B.
not Killer B is number
Is this
one.
gonna be like a running thing?
It's gonna be
throughout
one
the-
thing. It's too late now. We picked it up and we've got our first.
You guys are gonna have me
hour.
dye my hair and fucking get the glasses and everything.
Dude,
You're gonna see him slowly transition throughout this podcast.
I'm gonna just spit bars every time I come on from now on.
Oh, that's dope. Oh, you guys missed the spitballers earlier, but I'm not gonna repeat it because that loses the effect. But yeah, we have a primary overarching topic today of the Spy Family continuation. But we are branching off into the production side of things. We're going to discuss the voice
Word.
actors
Mm-hmm.
because you will find later in this session that they have quite the amount of overlap and a lot of history, and it's really something to look forward to. It's really cool what we've kind of discovered about them.
I think I
Yes.
know. I think I know what we're gonna title this this episode.
Oh, Otto?
Hit us with it.
It's either I have two things. It's either a wild waifu appeared.
Oh,
yeah.
I kinda
The
like that.
introduction of your
I kinda like
episode
that.
2 is definitely a big hook.
Yeah,
It's pretty wild.
yeah.
I'm hyped.
And I am going to be honest. I think I have a you know how we discussed in episode 1. I said that if they could consistently produce the kind of comedy that
Yes.
they were able to do in episode 1, that they'll have something very special.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think episode 2 upped the standards even more.
Yeah, I mean, they set a high bar with episode 1, and then episode 2 came in and was like, hey, see this bar? Let's just move it up a little bit, you know? We got
Yeah.
this. Let's keep
Yeah,
going.
it's starting like a reoccurring process with the comedy and stuff. I'm really liking it.
Yeah, it's cool because we've seen the father-daughter dynamic. We've seen the initial dynamic between husband and wife,
Mm.
and then we still haven't seen mom-daughter dynamic, and then the family dynamic.
We'll get there.
So it's like you've got all of these different aspects of comedy that they can pull from, right? Because you're not just exploring one relationship; you're
Yeah.
exploring at
Multiple.
the minimum 4.
Yeah, you got the inner workings back and forth between your little webs and triangles. And,
Mm-hmm.
speaking of
we
sort
call it a
of,
polygon.
Well, yes, but it's a polygon web.
Quadrilateral.
Yes,
All the
yes.
math people are gonna be so fucking.
They're like, you're so fucking wrong.
Technically.
Please, if you're a mathematician, hit us up. Give us that nerd
They're
shit.
like, square.
Yeah. One thing I will give you is a potential spoiler warning. I don't expect to spoil anything, but just in case, because we are going to cover My Teen Romantic Comedy is Wrong as I Expected, SNAFU, also known as Oregeru. It's possible we may come up with some spoilers in there while discussing it, so if you start hearing us talk about SNAFU and we're starting to get ahead of things, just cautionary. It's been out for a while, so I'm not like super worried about it, but
Don't worry, I'm right there with you. I haven't seen much of it, but
Yeah.
But
What makes this
take
fun?
that to the chin.
What makes this a lot of fun is a lot of the series that we like to review, because we like to draw some comparisons from the current series that we're reviewing and past series as well. Is that Kenny hasn't seen a lot of them, so we're able to show him all of these oldies but goodies, right?
I am for sure a novice in the Weeb community.
He's able to expand
Trying to work up there.
his my anime list basically.
oh man, we gotta make some of those at some
So-
point.
Guys, the watch list is getting really long. I don't know how I'm going to get through it, but
That's okay, man. Just pace
The
yourself.
watch
Don't
list
burn
is
yourself out.
infinite. Yeah, I mean that's definitely one of the fun things is that we have that variety of weebdom. Some of these, the weebdom, where we have the novice weebs, the people who aren't really weebs yet, they're like, oh, I saw anime for the first time. What is this?
Mm.
And then we have the people who are bigger weebs than us, or it's like, yo, you had to look up that thing. I already knew all of their roles. Like, actually, sure, I get it. But no, the fact that we have that huge range is super cool.
Yeah.
And that's why it's a lot of fun to go over the variety of topics that we do, the different elements and aspects, the different perspectives we go into this. Because it's always like, even amongst us three, it's like, wow, what? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
here at the same table.
yeah, there's always a different perspective that someone can bring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say
Right
that
out the knee.
we got we were treated to the opening song.
Oh yeah, because the first episode did it have an
It did not.
I
have
didn't
an
think.
opening song.
Yeah. Sometimes you get it where it's like, oh yeah, it's a new series prime. So sometimes it's like halfway through you get that opening.
Yeah.
And yeah, now that you mentioned it, I don't remember getting hit with that opening
Oh,
in
for
episode
Spy
one.
Family?
Episode one,
Spy
yeah.
Family.
Yeah.
First,
The artwork was cool.
Yeah,
I really
was
liked
very
the
cool,
artwork
yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
It was super dope.
I like the title. It's called Mixed Nuts.
We're a couple of mixed nuts over here.
I was about to say that,
I
huh?
love it. I love it.
The same brainwaves.
Yeah. Hey,
We're in the same shell with the two peanuts that are in the same
We're
shell.
I actually think
like that.
it's such an appropriate title because, all right, so I was paying very close attention to the opening sequence, right?
Cool.
And it seemed like it focused a lot on Anya. So
I do
think
know
it's-
like the visuals just left a little on you going
Yeah.
about her tasks.
Yeah, I think it's really appropriate that you named the song Mixed Nuts because that's like her favorite snack.
Oh yeah, she does like peanuts.
Yeah.
That might need to be the title.
Yeah.
Mixed
Yeah,
nuts.
Why didn't you just name it Peanuts? Because she specifically said, I like peanuts.
Because you have Lloyd and you're thrown in there mixing things
That's a
up.
good one.
There you go.
That's a good
There you
one.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so what I really liked about the opening was it showed Anya, and it was basically a montage, and it was taking both her and Lloyd and Yoda-san, and they were in all of these different family environments, like
Yeah.
going to the park, having a picnic and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool. And then it was juxtaposed by like scenes with Lloyd and
Doing spy
Yoda-san.
shit.
Yeah, just like killing people.
Just fucking people up.
That is
yeah.
a hell of a juxtaposition.
It was great.
Yeah. So I'm really interested to see now that we finally have all three characters together, how they're going to explore every single dynamic.
It's going to be interesting. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, the first couple episodes, I haven't seen episode 3 yet. Jay, have you seen it?
No. I'm
So I think
I'm
Kenny
holding
watched
on.
I have
Yeah, so of the three of us, Kenny's the only one that's current as of this recording.
Yeah.
New
So-
Weeb in first place, guys.
Yeah, because like I wanted to be able to just focus on the content. of the
Yeah,
second
yeah,
episode.
for sure. It was just more of a curiosity question.
Yeah. So some of the things that really popped into my mind, and maybe we could go over this today during this episode, is that I'm really interested to see a few dynamics that might be revealed in the show. Number one, how are they going to? How will finding out about each other's the true nature of their work?
Yes.
Right.
Hmm.
How will both Lloyd and Anya react to finding out
That's a
about the
really
nature
good
of each other's
question.
work. Are they going to
That's
do
a
Mr.
really
and
good
Mrs.
question.
Smith?
Speaking of which,
Well-
I don't even have enough context yet. Where are they on the same side? Are they on opposing
Precisely.
factions?
That's
Like,
what I'm thinking.
so it's
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
Yeah. Are they
Yeah.
going to pull Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
They haven't
Yeah.
revealed that yet. Huh?
yeah, we
They just
only
said
have
she's a,
because they're two
city worker.
separate, complete. Like he's more like sneaky, and she's more assassin type.
Yeah.
So it's like obviously they haven't worked together. They probably would recognize each other.
Yeah.
But it's like, are they on the same side of the supposed war, or are they on opposite sides? And what's going to happen if they're on opposite sides?
Mhm.
Like,
That's it, man. That's
Yeah.
definitely gonna bring some Mr. and Mrs. Smith vibes out.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then another thing that I really that really caught my attention is I'm wondering how Anya will react to Lloyd after she finds out that the only reason that he's with Anya is a
Oh,
means to
man.
an end.
don't
well, I
say
mean, she's
that.
already caught on to that. Whether or not it's actually clicked, because she's heard it in his head that, oh, this is my mission, and then once I'm done with my mission, I'll discard her. She's
No.
already heard that.
No, I'm interested. Sorry,
Unless I'm
think
misunderstanding.
I think I mixed that up. What I meant was how Yoda-san will react to finding
okay,
out.
you're not.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. How Yoda-san will react to finding out that Lloyd is using Anya basically as a means to an end.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
what?
Oh.
Yeah, because we don't really have a concept of her morals yet.
Hmm.
So I mean, obviously, we would assume they're lower morals because she kills people, but that's an assumption.
Hmm.
She might very well be like, "Oh no, children are off limits.
Yeah,
You can't mess with children."
Things get
Because we don't
complicated
have.
when there's a child involved.
Yeah, because even already off the bat, when she's like, "Oh, he has a child, I can't pursue him," was like her first reaction.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's
So
a
it's
good point.
definitely showing like her moral grounds are at a reasonable level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really really good point. Yeah. She thought, he's married because he has a kid, right? Where's
Mhm.
mom? And so she's like, I'm not gonna pursue him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'd really be interested to see how that dynamic plays out when they find out. Because like you said, we don't know if they play for the same team or they're
Mhm.
playing for opposite factions.
Yeah, and that would which one is which can really have a huge effect.
Man, that's really got me thinking now. Like,
I know, right?
What's gonna happen?
I'm kind of worried.
And it's really fun seeing Anya spur this on because she's aware of all of it with her mental telepathy.
Mm.
But she's so obsessed with spy shows that she's like, I want it to happen.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what? One of my favorite parts of the show was when they were in the store. Was it when they were in the store?
I think
They
I
met
know
for the
it's-
first time.
Yeah.
And then Lloyd is doing his cerebral shit, right? And he's thinking, all right, which of these women is going to be a good candidate?
Mhm.
She was like, well, the seamstress is already married.
Yeah.
The proprietress, well, she's got a prior conviction. I was like, I don't want any damn trouble, man. Like, I'm not trying to make this mission any riskier.
I don't want
than it
any
is.
attention on myself. I don't want to bring any risk on myself.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a fun scene. It was just back-to-back scenes of hilarity.
Dude, it was like right on top of each other, and then Anya comes in, right? And she's like, oh man, she is an assassin.
Yeah, you see her eyes get real wide as she hears this, and your first reaction is like, oh no, she discovered this. But instead of like fear or terror, she's excited and happy. Like, this is so cool.
Yep, the Thorn Princess.
Yeah, the Thorn
That's
Princess.
just cool.
Yeah, what Anya's doing is she's reacting like exactly how I think a kid would react,
Yeah.
Mhm.
knowing like, oh,
Kids who don't know any better
like,
about
dad's
the
a
actual
spy,
violence and how
and
bad
mom's an
things-
assassin or
Yeah.
a potential mom, because she makes it a point, right? She's like, because when she's reading Yoda-san's thoughts and Yora's thinking, oh no, he's got a kid, I can't
Yeah.
pursue him because he's married.
She
She steps
gets
in.
into acting
Yeah.
right then
Oh
and there.
no,
yeah.
mom! I wish I had a mom.
Yeah.
And she plays matchmaker, right? She's
Yeah.
like, oh,
And then we
no.
see Yoro-san react to that really well, you know. So that's really good to see, you know. So she's definitely got some really good morals, as we were talking about before.
Yeah, when Yoda-san was introduced, I was like, dude, she's a waifu candidate right there. Okay, no, what I found really interesting was that I really like her as a waifu candidate because off rip, dude, I love her personality. There's like this distinction
She's
where
got the on-off
her
switch.
personality switches like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
She
like-
did that phone call, just like, I was like, damn. She went from this adorable little, oh no,
Yeah.
to what? Oh shit.
It's business time.
Yeah, precisely. There's like we said, right? There's that switch,
Mhm.
and then the contrast between her two personalities, right? Because it's the reason why I think she pulls it off so well is because she's just she's naturally oblivious
Yeah, she's the aloof sort right off the bat.
Yeah. She's extremely like not in a bad way. Well, I guess in good and bad ways, right? Yodo-san is very socially inept, right? She's not very socially calibrated.
Yeah.
She's all about her job. She's really good at her job, but when it comes to social situations,
A little awkward about it.
yeah, she's very awkward, right? In the beginning, when we were first introduced to her, right, because she works for, I think it's the city hall or city council, right?
Something. along
Yeah,
those
they're like
lines.
I just heard her and her brother do city work.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, but she's the older. It seems like she's the older girl, right? She's the senpai of the group,
Mhm.
but you notice that the girls are bagging on her the whole time.
Man,
Yeah.
Right? They're bagging on her the whole time, but she doesn't pick that up.
it was 100% a fucking a mean girl situation.
Yeah. Yeah, that was actually a really good point. It's exactly a mean girls situation, right? Because with girls, they're covert in their communication skills, and they're taking pot shots at her,
Yeah.
right? And like, oh, senpai, you're 27, but you're still single. That one actually was really interesting. Apparently, it's
That hits like a cultural cue.
it's suspicious
yeah,
that you're
especially
still single.
yeah, because she said, "Oh, they might be a spy."
Mhm.
Yeah. What do you guys think that has to do with the overarching story? Like
Yeah.
the spies getting called out, basically.
Yeah, I think that is a good reference point to that because it gives you the context of this war or potential war isn't in the shadows. Like people know a war is brewing,
Yeah.
so it gives us the context that the people know that there is danger in mist, and the spies know what greater danger is and going on. So people are like, "Oh, we know there's spies trying to set problems off," and then so people who meet certain standards are like, "Hey, that person's sketchy.
Yeah.
They must be a spy."
Yeah. Yeah.
You would think you'd see that like civil disarray a little bit more.
Dude, there was
His face is in civil disarray.
there was a part in that interaction where oh god, what was it? I forgot. I'll circle back to it. You guys keep going.
Circles. This is a triangle, bro.
Dude, my brain did a fart.
Your brain's got gas today.
You're gassy today, bro.
Paying them Ethereum. It's paying them Ethereum fees.
It only happened twice. Yeah.
Too much protein, man.
I actually haven't had a lot of food today yet, so.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I had to think about it, but I haven't eaten much today either. I had that puff corn. Damn, I was so happy to have found that. But yeah, I probably should have eaten.
Jeez, bro.
It's good though. It means I just won't have to go to the bathroom yet.
I had a cream cheese bagel and a cookie.
Cream cheese bagel sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, I'm so pissed right now because it was a really funny scene, and it just left my head.
Was it when they were still bagging on her in the action?
Yeah. It had something to do with
Spies getting discovered.
the spies being discovered.
Her sincere worry about being 27.
No,
Was it when she lied about having a boyfriend?
no, not that one either. Yeah, we're definitely gonna cut all this part out.
Yeah.
Focus on that one.
Well, we can just bump to another part of the spy recap and go with the. We could jump straight to the marriage proposal.
Oh man.
That's too far.
Yeah.
Too far.
Yeah.
God, that scene hit so hard.
Why don't we go to when her and Lloyd meet
In the little shop.
in the shop? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of touched on that with Anya's mind reading bits and getting alert in, but it was because you could see Lloyd fall for her right away.
Yeah.
And it's like, is he falling for her?
Do you think he's on to her because of like she kind of showed her skills a little bit?
I think he is as oblivious as she is. I mean, he hasn't caught on to Anya's mind reading yet either, and it seems like he's just. It's not that he's trustful. It's just that he's so used to that lifestyle that's normal to him. Because he hasn't really spent a lot of time like in a normal environment being a normal person. So when he sees somebody do like to us like, whoa, that person just beat the shit out of that thug.
Yeah.
To him, it's like, yeah, that's what normal people do.
He's super focused on his objective alone.
Yeah.
Is the main.
Yeah, and because he's been in that environment for so long, he doesn't know the difference between normie life and spy life.
Yeah, exactly.
So that distinction has been blurred. So to him, he's just like, yeah, this is what a woman's like.
It's kind of telling that like Anya kind of brings that back towards him though. We see the flashbacks of him as a kid and how he used to be, and it shows that he doesn't want other kids going through stuff like that. So I like that the dynamic that Anya brings to his life is humanizing him once again. You know,
The humanizing word of the podcast. Not even word of the day anymore. Word of the podcast.
humanization, baby.
I think it works really well for both of them because they're both so oblivious to just normal, to social norms, that their dynamic. Once again, we like the comedy because it's extremely organic, and it works for both of them because they're both so extremely oblivious to social cues, and social norms, that things that seem normal to them are extremely abnormal to us. So it really stands out when they act it out.
Yeah, we're just like, what is this idiot doing?
Like when she kicked the tray to catch it.
Yes,
man.
And he just acts like, yeah, that's a totally normal thing that people do.
Yeah. Oh, dude, when he was like, Lloyd was like, I admire.
Yeah.
I admire that you wanna save food, right?
Yes,
you don't want to waste. I admire
your dedication to not providing waste. Yeah.
Using your foot is a little extreme.
Yeah, but it's not appropriate to handle food with your feet.
Yeah.
That was funny.
That is. Yeah, that's a good example of like the organic comedy. It's just like he's not making a joke; he's just making a statement. But to us, it's like, what the fuck statement was that?
Yeah,
they're really killing it with the facial expressions too. Every time I see Anya just go with the shocked face,
well,
I just die
the surprise
laughing.
of happiness of.
Yeah,
her eyes.
I actually really like the fact that they gave both Lloyd and Yoru-san enough screen time, because I thought Anya was going to be involved almost immediately.
Right.
But just like in the first episode where we immediately established a relationship between both Lloyd and Anya, they gave us an opportunity to get to know Lloyd and Yoru-san, how they interact with each other.
Yeah.
So off rip, we know exactly what's going to be going on between the both of them.
Yeah. So again, like we harkened back into the Rurouni Kenshin comparisons, the pacing's been really good for character introductions and developments. Where it's like, here's a character, here's what they're like, here's their connection to this character that you've already grown accustomed to.
Yeah.
But without doing it rushed, like they're just like, oh, they're best friends now because the script said so. Like they give purpose behind things, they connect them, and it's been going really well.
You know, there's one thing that I found it really strange, because we know that both Yoru and Lloyd are both oblivious to the lives of normal people, but it seems like they pick up on each other's weird quirks. Right? Because when Lloyd starts beating on the guys chasing them, she's like, I don't think you're.
Oh yeah, that's not how you treat your patients. Yeah, so there's moments of like, but then they're almost questioning themselves as much as they're questioning the other, I think. So it's like, I haven't experienced this. Is this normal? It doesn't seem normal. So they're kind of like you said. Like, hey, this is a quirk, but they're not confirming the quirk. They're just, is this a quirk?
Yeah, because they're like, are you a good spy?
Is this a quirk? And there's a picture of a definite quirk, but they're like, the text says pigeon. It's the opposite of the pigeon name.
No, I think it works out, right? Because you know that they're both really good at their jobs.
Yes.
But they're so oblivious to everything else that it kind of works in their favor, because that creates for the comedic aspect is magnified because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I thought it was just so weird, because I'm thinking to myself, okay, he's a really good spy. You're a really good assassin. How are you not able to pick up that this is not what normal people do? Because I'm assuming that you're engaged in some kind of espionage, right? So you're supposed to be observant, man.
Yeah, but they observe their kind of people, which are not normal people, because they're always around other spies. Those are the people they're spying on. So they see them, they're like, oh, that's what people do.
Oh, that's true. That's the point.
So it's the context of what they observe. They're not usually, these are, at least in their line of work, they're not focused on the normal people in the crowd.
Yeah.
They usually have specific targets.
Yeah, I was going to say it's still in the context of their work.
Yeah. Because it was really funny in the beginning. When Frankie was
fucking poor Frankie.
He was Lloyd was trying to dress Frankie up as a
scruffy head.
Yeah, so he was trying to dress her up as the wife. and then Frankie points it out, right? Dude, you're supposed to be a spy. Aren't you? You're supposed to be better at making a disguise.
Yeah, like the show seems to be self-aware of exactly what you're calling out, I think.
Yeah. That's what makes it, I think, really good, because they're self-aware.
Yeah, because obviously if this show had like a more serious tone, none of this shit would fly. We'd be like, what the fuck? But because it has the comedic tone that we, the viewer, are picking up on, it allows for some of that suspense of disbelief.
Yeah. I actually thought, I don't know if you guys thought this too, but when episode 2, when Frankie was yelling, I thought that he was the same voice actor for Frankie from One Piece. Because like his tone, especially when he screams and he's got like the high pitch, it sounded like Frankie from One Piece. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool.
I've only seen One Piece in dub. So I would
interesting.
Dude, Frankie's my favorite character in One Piece.
Really?
Yeah. And precisely because he has like his voice actor. Yeah, he really pulls it off really well. The Frankie character. Yeah.
I don't like One Piece. I just pissed off a bunch of people.
That's the wrong answer. That's the wrong answer.
We do not condone One Piece activity over here.
Yeah, I ain't into it. I ain't vibing.
No, it's okay. We'll let it
Let's
slide.
see other highlights of the show. I actually also very much enjoyed the conversation that Yoda-san had with her brother.
Oh yeah. That was a revealing conversation too.
Recall?
Like, because it started to blend the personal and spy life. Because before when we were first introduced to her, it's like, oh, this is just her front.
Yes.
But then they have the conversation with her brother, and it brings up the questions: is the brother involved? Is the brother? Is this actually her personality? Is she actually this aloof, caring person?
I was thinking that as well.
Yeah. So now it's starting to blend and kind of, is it? Yeah, like that was a really revealing little combo.
Yeah. Well, what really stood out for me in that scene, and why it's one of my favorites, is because Yuri is the doting brother.
Yes.
Right. He's
yeah,
the doting.
he seemed like he was absolutely like, yours my treasure.
Yeah, he's not the doting older brother, but he's a doting brother.
Yes.
Regardless, right? And he goes out of his way. Yeah. That scene was funny, and right, it hit you in the feels at the same time because it seems like Yuri is extremely aware of exactly how awkward your son is, and so he goes out of his way and always checks up on her.
Yeah.
Which I really like because it's like, dude, it seems like you're just they haven't really talked about their parents, so we don't know what the situation was with their parents. So, and it seems like he's a really busy dude. He just got promotion. He just got offered a promotion from his job.
You got that from their conversation that they haven't really spoken about their parents.
Yeah. It seems like they're. I'm making a jump here.
Yeah.
Just because.
But I kind of get the jump you're coming from, just because it's like a cultural thing. A lot of times siblings will bring up their parents on the phone, like, "Oh, how's mom doing? How's dad doing? Whatever." And there was like none of that. So it is a jump, but it's a jump like with some substance behind it.
Yeah. We're told in the show that their parents are deceased.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Oh,
but I don't know if he was just making that up or not. Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because
was Lloyd just saying that to cover for her because he's really great at impromptu wit, or was he like, did he actually start researching her and found her or her cover had parents dead?
Oh yeah, you're right.
So we don't have So he said it, but we don't know. Like, did he just say that, or is this actually true?
Because I was thinking of the profiles that he bring up about all the
Because that's what I'm saying. It might just be her coverage profile.
Yeah. Okay.
But it might also be part because a lot of times when spies and whatnot have profiles, they put a lot of truth in there.
Yeah.
So
each good lie has a little bit of truth.
Precisely.
Or
the
reverse. I don't know which one.
I really appreciated Yuri as a brother because that's like how I am with my sisters. It's like the older you get, the more you realize that guys are dogs. So it's like regardless of whether you're older or younger, it's like you're always gonna be protective of your sisters, right? So I was like, dude, he's if they are orphans, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was a really, really nice scene, right? He's like, I can't really, I'm gonna be a lot more busy if I take this promotion, and I want to make sure that. See, that's the thing that gives me more of an indication that they are orphans because it seems like he's the one that's always checking up on her, visiting her and stuff like that, and he's like, well, my work is gonna be occupying a lot of my time if I take this promotion, and then. But I don't want you to be by yourself. Yeah. Right? Because he knows exactly how socially awkward that she can be. That's why she was like, when she faked that, hey, I actually have a boyfriend and I'm taking him to
I was actually about to bring up to that point, was my next point.
And he was like, oh, I need to meet him first.
Yes.
I need to meet him first
Let me vet this guy.
Yeah,
make sure you're okay.
Yeah, he might be trying to finesse you.
Exactly, yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah, so I really like that scene precisely from like a big brother standpoint, right? Because I'm protective of my sisters, so like that really resonated with me right there.
I can kind of relate to that because I have these, and I'll kill people.
For legal reasons, that was a joke.
Yeah.
in anime, I'm in anime form. That's what
I don't know. We might have to cut that out because YouTube doesn't like certain words.
Fuck YouTube. Fuck you, YouTube.
Damn. You heard it here first.
Your real feel, bro.
Oh man, I'm not cutting that either. I ain't no bitch. Oh man.
But you said you wanted to bring the party up.
Yeah. So the party there was a lot going on there because you had your not having Lloyd show up for the first half of it.
Dude, she got ghosted.
Yeah, she got ghosted. And you could tell like a part of her that was personal. It wasn't just business anymore.
Well, I wouldn't say ghosted. Stood up.
Yeah.
You know,
well, from her perspective, she was ghosted.
Yep.
Because this is just some guy she met, and she didn't trust anybody before. She hadn't really established a relationship, so she's like, "Oh, figures, of course, no one."
right?
Kind of thing. So to her, straight up ghosted.
Yeah.
And then seeing Lloyd's perspective at the same time, because it was switching back and forth, and how he's like doing everything he can to try to get there, but shit's just not panning out.
Dude, you know what was the best part of the impromptu mission? When they got the jewels.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna help myself to this diamond ring.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pre-planning.
Oh my bad, dude. He's like, oh, I'm gonna make this I'm gonna make this legit.
What luck too?
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking fat ass diamond ring.
Luck.
Sitting there.
And then poor Frankie was like,
device.
"Hey, yeah, that's the diamond. You took that."
And then you switch over to Yodo-san, and then she's starting to realize, right? Because before she goes into Camilla's party,
Which was something that was impressive, is having the guts to be like, you know what, I'm going to go there and alone instead of just leaving too. Because she could have ghosted the party and just be like, I'm not going to deal with the pressure that's going to put me under.
but she's a very responsible person.
Correct,
It seems
yes.
like both her and Lloyd are extremely dutiful.
Yes.
So she's like, I'm not going to check out just because like Lloyd's not here. I'm still gonna fulfill my duties as a member of the company. She invited me. We're at the very least we're acquaintances, and so I'm not gonna stand these guys up just because I was stood up. But what I really like about that scene just before she enters the party is she starts to realize how normal people are, because she said this must be what it feels like to get stood up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or no, she said this must be what it feels like to get your heart broken.
Yeah. Anya brings a lot of wholesome.
Oh, it's so pure.
Everything. Every scene.
Kind of scares me if shit gets dark.
I think it will.
I think
You
it
think
will.
so?
To be quite honest with you, I think it will.
I think at some point it will. I suspect as much. Obviously, manga readers probably already know.
Yeah.
But I have that suspicion because I think as far as writing goes, it would give a heavy impact. Because it started off with that dark tone, like, oh, a spy got this guy killed, his brakes failed, and he died. And then it went to the cuteness overload. So it's like, oh no, this is pure. So it's lifting us up again just to pound us in the face.
You know, I was thinking, they showed in the first episode where Anya was being used for her powers.
Yes,
Because
with the scientists.
Yeah, the scientists knew about it and everything.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, like, if Lloyd ever found out about that, would he report that to the higher ups? Because he would probably be in the
Moral
same
conflict.
situation again.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know exactly.
I don't think he would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel like
Because
that
of
too.
what he said before about creating a better world for children.
Yeah.
I can't see him turning around and being like, oh, let's use children.
It would be
Conflicting to his
it would
nature
be
that we've discovered.
heartbreaking for Anya.
Oh,
I don't think.
Because she's creating this trust with him.
Yes,
lot.
she's starting to feel safe with somebody. Yeah,
Though I don't think we're actually. To be quite honest with you, I don't think the anime is going to focus a lot on how exactly Anya acquired her telepathic abilities.
I don't think it'll focus on the how,
Yeah.
but what. But eventually, somebody's going to realize, hey, this girl has telepathy,
Honestly,
and that's definitely going to be a hook at some point. It'd be interesting if they wrote it where nobody figures it out. That would be interesting. But I suspect that somebody at some point is going to catch on, and be like, at least a question like, wait a minute, can she read my mind? And she's probably going to react like, no.
yeah. Honestly, I think I like that better, to where it's unknown.
It's
There's
something that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a thing in writing where, like, when you're writing like a fantasy series, there's soft and hard magic. I think this would be on the lines of hard magic, to where you don't really. Oh no, it's a soft magic. Yeah, so it's to where you don't really know the source, but it's still there.
Right.
You know? So I think that's a lot more interesting.
Yeah, I agree because kind of like how I just said, I expect that it's usurping expectations. People expect Origin to pop up. People expect it to see it come into play in the main plot. So going against that and not doing those things would go against expectations, and that would be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But it would be hard. I mean, and it's doable, I think, for them because there's so many other interesting things about this series so far that they would still be able to maintain the plot.
Yeah.
Whereas with different writing, if the characters weren't so engaging, if the comedy wasn't so fun, it would be hard to write it in a way where it's like, oh, here's a super important plot point of telepathy we're not going to utilize. And people are going to be like, yo, when's the telepathy going to be in play? So it's like the matter of how entertained will they keep us and how hooked will they keep us without that, while that just stays as a background piece.
Yeah.
So that'll be a good measure of the writing.
Yeah. Personally, though, I'm much more interested in them exploring the family dynamic.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because you know how when we reviewed the first episode, I kind of alluded to the fact that slapstick comedy, it's hard to keep people's attention if that was strictly the content for 12 to 24 episodes. And so I think you give the characters a lot more depth, you give the story a lot more depth if you tie in the family dynamic with the comedic aspect of the show.
Yeah, and I think a good tie-in for that, in fact, is going into the voice actors, because Takuya, Eguchi, and Hayami, were in SNAFU together as opposing roles. So seeing them once again as opposing roles, gender roles, they have that good baseline to go off of okay, how are they going to explore this dynamic? Because it's very different. Like in My Teen Romantic Comedy, at the beginning they were very, I want nothing to do with other people, or I'm very prideful, or I'm very closed off. And now in this one, it's almost the opposite. They're faking a marriage, so they're trying to be intimate and close. But it's the same two voice actors together, so they already have like this dynamic experience together. So it'll be really interesting to see how that plays out through this.
Yeah.
These VAs got range.
Yeah, for sure. Because from what you told me, they've worked together in quite a few projects, yeah?
Yeah, I read in one source.
They're 40.
No, in one source I saw 29 was the different projects, but some of the key ones that I've seen that they worked together in 2009, they were in Eden of the East together, although this is actually a little different because Takuya played Satoshi, who was the one in love with Saki, who was played by Saori. However, Saki did not reciprocate that love, so it was an unrequited love in that case, which caused that character to cause all kinds of problems and basically defame another character to try to take back, which is a very different perspective than we see now in 2022 with the roles. So it's like really cool to see like them in the same opposing roles, but coming from a completely different angle.
Yeah. It seems like they've explored multiple dynamics of relationships, which is why they work so well together.
Yeah, and that's why it's really exciting to bring up your family dynamic, because it's like there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah.
So if the writing's good, the voice actor's gonna be able to carry it and really deliver those lines.
Yeah. Dude, I think we really are in for a treat, because earlier I said that the standard for the comedy just was set so much higher. It's every single scene, every single interaction with all of the characters. The punchline, it just hit you so well.
Yeah, dude. there was one part when they were going over the interview question, and Lord was like, "I've completed so many missions as a spy. I'm one of the best, and I feel truly helpless." That was so funny. His eyes were dark, man. I'm really loving the emotes. And everything.
That's why I like that he comes from SNAFU, because he played Hachiman Hikigaya, who is a character who is right in the beginning of the series described as having the eyes of a dead fish. So it's a very good transition.
He needs more omega-3s.
Too many. Yeah, not enough omega-3s, ends up with a dead fish, I guess. But so that monotone kind of passionless aspect really carried over. So he has that experience from another role coming into this to play this spy. And in both cases, the character is learning to develop and find that more human aspect that they've been, and actually in both series, intentionally blocking out.
Yeah, because we were talking about this yesterday. Hachiman is extremely introspective, and it seems like he grew up too fast.
Yeah.
Right? He's missing the point of high school, where the point of high school is, yes, as you get closer to the end,
drop dead.
That too. That's
the line
his conclusion anyway.
Yeah. He's like, everybody living high school as a high school life, drop dead.
I thought you were talking to the viewers. I was like, whoa, man.
Yeah. Like,
I love you.
Hachiman in the show has a very cynical view of high schoolers in general, because it seems like to me that he thinks everybody lives in this fantasy world, right? But when I was speaking about this with Robert yesterday, that's what precisely high school is for, right? It's a bridge between your ignorance is bliss youth, right? When you're allowed to be ignorant, and then
youth is a
transition
lie
into the real world. So Hachiman grew up way too fast, and he misses the point of this is still a time where you still get to be innocent, where you still get to be a child before the real world,
of course,
smacks you in the face.
Yeah, of course, he opens up with that speech of youth is a lie to essentially try to contend against that, saying no, it is bullshit. Fuck that.
But, youth is a lie, right? It's a fantasy.
Yeah,
because he thinks like, no, this is not how the world works.
Yeah.
Right? You just don't get away with like a rosy colored.
You can't just put on the rosy red glasses and have at it. Yeah.
I feel like that's I need to watch that show then. I feel like that's a really important message for a lot of high school kids out there and stuff. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
to definitely cherish those times.
To enjoy your youth.
Enjoy your youth. You know, figure out yourself.
Yeah.
You know, that's really what high school's for.
That's why I think Sensei was so hard on him.
Yeah, I think Sensei was really trying to get him to open up and experience things, because it wasn't like anything was causing him to have that perspective other than himself, and he was doing that as a defensive mechanism.
Precisely. Yeah.
So,
and to me, at least, the scene with him and Sensei, where Sensei's bagging on him, I can't believe I forgot her name.
that's why I'm just calling her Sensei.
She's definitely a waifu, though. I'm a big fan.
Car spotting quick quirk. She drives an Aston Martin Vantage. That's pretty fucking dope. Don't know how she affords it, but pretty fucking dope.
He doesn't know her name, but he knows her car.
That's a good point. On a high school teacher's salary,
right?
An Aston Martin,
6-figure car.
Wow. Damn, dude.
I mean, used you could get them for like $35K, but they ain't reliable at that cost.
It's probably an assassin.
Sensei has an OnlyFans.
Bro, I'd subscribe.
Ditto.
Sorry, we're in the zone of truth here. We can't lie.
Yeah. No, but it was just for me. The one other reason why I really like her as a character is I think she realizes that Hachiman is way too cynical for his age.
Yeah,
and she knows exactly the crap that you have to deal with when you're an adult.
Yeah,
because she's got her own issues. She said, I'm single and I'm like 30 something. You know, I don't have a partner, and you know, I maybe smoke too much, and I'm getting older and older and older. So she knows exactly the difficulties of being an adult, and she's trying to reel Hachiman back in from getting to that point too quickly. And she's like, hey, enjoy your youth a little bit more, which is, I think, the reason why she brings Yukino and Hachiman together, because I think Yukino was in the same boat.
Yeah, Yukino was in a similar boat, but with a different perspective.
Yeah. She's cynical in an outward way.
Yeah, hers was more prideful.
Prideful. Yeah. Some people could call it like arrogance.
Yeah, I think
narcissism.
And as we learn through the series, much like with Hachiman, it's a front.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to see Yukino, who is Saori, or AKA Yor, portray those different personalities again. Yep. Like, what is one personality hiding that the character is trying to deal with internally?
Yeah, you see the parallel there. That's a good point. Where both characters that she played, there's facade put up front, and then there's the levels underneath it.
Yeah, the general consensus that I'm getting from like seeing reviews and stuff and what you guys are saying, it's the two characters trying to find like a genuine connection between people.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. That's what it is. That's another very good observation, because you have two people that are really good at their jobs in Lloyd and Yoru-san's case, but oblivious to the real world. And in SNAFU, you've got Hachiman and Yukino, who are, I guess they're
the opposite. Instead of oblivious of the real world, they're too familiar.
They're too familiar with the harshness of the world, and then they try to put this facade right in front of
a barrier between them and the world
as a protective mechanism. It seems like
I'd say it's even more genuine in Spy Family, because it's unwarranted. You know, it's really just out of nowhere.
Oh yeah,
and
certainly.
Then what you guys were saying with Hachiman and Yukino, they said that they put a wall up.
Yep. Yeah, it's a defensive mechanism. Yeah. Because we even in just the first episode, one of the primary reasons why Hachiman, I think, has that defense against him, and you see it during his first interaction with Yukino, is, you know, when he gets rejected.
He does?
Yeah. Right?
In the first episode?
Yeah. Man. He doesn't hit up Yukino.
It's like a flashback.
Yeah, it's a middle school scene where he tells a girl that he likes her. And then she
Well, it's after she gives like a bunch of signs, and she's like, "Oh, give me a hint. Give me the initials of the guy you like." And she gives the first initial of him. So he goes, "Is it me?" And like, useful excitement. And she immediately like laughs it off, like, "Ew, why would you think that?" No, and that's so.
It's like real world. Once again, that's because he's so cynical about the real world, is because he immediately realized, oh, you mean that just because you're being nice to me, that's not necessarily an indicator of romantic interest. That's just how you are. And then she was extremely, like, at least from that scene, she was extremely disgusted.
Yeah, condescending.
Yeah. So he's like, well, I don't want to put myself in that position again.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put this wall in front of me so that never happens again. And I think that's what starts. That's why he becomes more cynical and cynical. It's that he realizes that not everything is as it seems.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Don't take anything at face value.
And he learned that a little too young for his own good. So
it's good that he learned it, though. You know what I mean?
Well, it might have been good if he learned it later, because the way he approached it and handled things by just shutting everybody out obviously wasn't the answer. That's why the sensei stepped in, seeing that and realizing what was happening.
No, and then so I think it's really critical that Yui Yuigahara.
Yeah.
I love it. It's Yukino Yukinoshita and then Yuigahara.
Yeah.
And then it's
Hachiman Hikigaya.
Yeah. He's like, you should.
All this alliteration. Just chill the fuck out.
Exactly. I think it was actually critical that Yui was in there.
Yeah.
That she made it into the group because they needed that bridge.
Yeah.
They
Yui
needed
is
that bridge
absolutely
because otherwise, you know, and
like Anya's the bridge for
precisely. Yeah, she's gonna be
Lloyd
the bridge.
and Yor,
Yeah, I think that's a very good comparison, right? That there's a character that needs to exist in the middle to bridge the two because otherwise it doesn't seem like they're ever gonna interact with each other.
Yeah, a character that has a completely different personality.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder if there will be a little more parallel with Anya. Is she just covering herself and have something deeper inside, or is she truly accepting and blissful at this point?
Know, I think the show will progress and it's going to have much more serious undertones.
Yeah,
because right now we see Anya as somebody who's just she's
adorable, she's fun,
right?
Yeah. And I love that.
Her dad's a spy, her mom's going to be an assassin, and she's extremely excited
because she loves the Spy Wars show, and now here she's living in her favorite show. How much cooler does it get as a kid?
Dude, I guarantee you though that just like in SNAFU, the world's going to hit you in the face, and it's going to hit her in the face a lot sooner than I think
than she deserves.
Than she deserves.
I feel like she's somewhat learning of a moral high ground as well, though. There's a scene at the end of the episode where she helps out capturing the purse thief, where she reads everybody's mind and tries to figure out which one is him, and finds him through the crowd, and then she's like, "Oh, Daddy, I want cake." You guys remember that part?
Wait, was this at the ending of the second episode?
Is this post credits or right into it?
I think it in episode 3.
See, that's why I refrain.
This motherfucker, watching the wrong guy. He's watching too much. Get ahead of this.
Yeah, that's
Thanks for spoiling episode.
It was on my mind.
That was such an important plot
That's
point.
why I refrain from watching episode 3 before we do the recording for episode 2, because I don't want episode 3 to color our discussion for episode 2. But that's totally fine.
It's very fresh. It's very fresh.
That's
right
totally
here.
fine. That's
Cake
totally
was just sitting right here. I had to get it off.
Yeah. But no, I think you're absolutely correct. I think Anya will serve as the bridge for both Lloyd and Yoru-san, and I think that's what's going to give the show its life.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
The interactions between
a triad is usually life. Yeah, I mean a triad is usually the most powerful dichotomy in the series with characters.
Yeah.
Because you can have the two opposing ones and there's a connection. Because otherwise, if you have two opposing characters, why are they together? They're just part.
Yeah. And I think Yui is good in that way because she brings out more interaction between Yukino and Hachiman that would not have been possible if she wasn't there.
Yeah, right? And even when Hachiman does the same thing, like in the first episode where they're making chocolates terribly.
Yeah. Cookies. I think it was cookies.
Cookies, yeah. Cookies. Really terrible cookies. And he was talking to them inside. He got Yui and Yukino to talk. And then he left the room quietly. But she didn't just let him go. She came out and still connected him. Yeah. Because otherwise it would have been like, oh, purpose served. I've connected two people and left. But she didn't just let him disconnect and go.
Yeah. That actually that's a good point. That actually endeared Yui to me a lot because I'm not a very big fan of her voice actor, but that scene really did endear her to me because you pointed this out. Yui is the type of person who keeps all of her problems to herself.
Right.
She's too busy taking care of other folks, and that's
until it gets too big, too powerful. And
that's and that was a good representation of that, right? Yeah. It's like I'm not just gonna let you walk out because I think in a sense she feels just how socially disconnected Hachiman is.
Yes.
And she's like, well,
absolutely.
You provided me a very kind gesture.
Yeah.
Right? Because you ate the cookies that I cooked
and showed me that. And then she even ate them later. He tricked her in a good way. And that goes back to his manipulation that we talked about the other day, too. Where it's like, is it manipulation or is it just working your way through a social environment?
Yeah. Well,
he rides some lines.
Yeah, this author sounds really like socially skilled.
Yeah, that's the thing. He knows people, but from another person's perspective, if they're aware of it, it seems like manipulation.
Yeah.
But as long as they're unaware of it, it's just skillful navigation.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why I like Hachiman as a character is because he's really good at navigating social situations. But like you said, it can also be a weakness because other people that are extremely perceptive are going to catch on, and they're going to be like, "Dude, what are you doing? Or you're exactly. Like what are you trying to pull here?"
Yeah.
Especially the way that especially how Hachiman always portrays himself, he's gonna come off as sketchy to some people.
Yeah. And I'm kind of curious to see if genuine romance does develop in this series, because both of them have
I think
played
so.
a couple of romantic roles. For example, Takuya has played Arima in Mysterious Girl X, and he's also played Takuya Ogoda in My Love Story.
If you guys haven't seen Mysterious Girl X, I think it's Kanojo X.
It's kind of
or
cringe, something like that. But it's kind of cringe, but it's pretty fucking good.
No, I actually don't
like
think it's cringe at all. The premise is extremely strange. I'm not going to spoil it to you.
That's why.
I'm not going to spoil it to you guys here, but it has something to do with saliva.
A lot
Yeah.
to do.
A lot to do with saliva.
Fair warning.
And it explores like adolescent sexuality as it emerges. And a lot of people, it turns a lot of people off because of how the medium is communicated.
Yeah.
Again, with the whole thing with the saliva, but it's a very good show. So I definitely highly recommend that. Mysterious Girlfriend X was one of my favorites. Yeah.
Yeah.
Know about saliva.
Pretty fucking much. I mean, the saliva is a euphemism.
It's a euphemism,
But,
yes,
yeah.
precisely.
But and Saori herself also played a few romance roles. I mean, she was Shirayuki in Snow White with the red hair, which I thought was a cute show, though I haven't finished it. And she played Saki in Eden of the East, who with Akira.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. With Akira, developed a relationship of this guy who's a mysterious stranger who apparently fucked up all kinds of shit and is a bad troublemaker.
Yeah.
And yet she finds herself falling for it. So I'm really interested to see how these other characters come into play with Yor and Lloyd, and how that dynamic unfolds.
Yeah. And for you Demon Slayer fan, she also
Oh, yeah.
she was
another sexy badass.
Yeah. She played Shinobu.
Mm-hmm. Butterfly Girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Himawari Uzumaki.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the little
for the Naruto
Naruto.
fans.
Little
Yeah.
Naruto offspring.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she has a really broad range.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
both of these characters have played a variety of roles, and a lot of them do reflect on this and really tie into Spy Family. So it'll be really cool to see how they bring their experiences into play and interact.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if we wanna end on this note, the very end of Spy Family, not the chase scene, because that was hilarious.
The end of episode 2, not the end of Spy Family.
Yeah. But as there's so many highlights for me in the second episode of Spy Family. But again, for me, it matters most when they explore the family and relationship dynamics between people. And at the end of the party, right, when Lloyd finally comes in,
Yeah.
and he's all bloody,
Yeah, complete
he's-
mess.
and he's all
One of
bloody.
my patients.
Yeah,
Bloody but still focused.
yeah, Dominic was like, Forger-san, you're bleeding. He's like, oh, my patients. One of my patients has a
episode.
violent episode.
Yeah. This plays right into it. It's like, and then that sticks to his cover as a psychiatrist. So again, they're still sticking into
Dude,
mine.
Lloyd is a master of improv. When he
And
starts
it's so
beating on the
straight
guys,
faced, no hesitation.
yeah, when he's beating on the guys and yours
new
like,
concussive
I don't
therapy.
think, yeah, it's like that's actually the concussive recovery method.
Yes.
That's why I'm smacking him over the head. And then I love how they just bounce off of each other when the guy jumps off from the balcony and Anya roundhouse kicks the hell out of him.
Yeah, I like when he.
Oh,
I like
yeah,
how he
you-
just
yeah.
fucking laughs.
Yeah.
He just dies laughing. when
Yeah,
takes
he does. He
action
just
to
has a good old kick out of it.
And your son is like, I'm sorry, I helped with the recovery.
You see how far he went?
Did you see how far he went?
Yeah, that was great. And then that leads into the wonderful marriage proposal.
yeah.
You know what? You guys go watch the scene.
Yeah.
Just go watch
Yeah.
the scene.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil the ending
Because
because
it's so fun.
yeah, there's fireworks in the ending.
Oh, yeah.
Like both literally and figuratively. So we're not gonna spoil that one for you guys here, but just take our word for it. It ends on a banger. Yeah. If the first episode ended holistically, with Anya and Lloyd sleeping on the couch, this one is it turns up the octane quite a bit.
Yeah, you definitely see the sparks fly between these two.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
I might spoil it for you unintentionally.
Yeah.
No.
But to bring it back, when Lloyd comes into the party and he sees once again, right, dude, this Camilla girl, like she really pisses me off. Like she really does, especially when she.
Oh
starts,
yeah, I mean she's like that
Giving
fucking.
off those Regina
She's like the
vibes.
bitch from Shield Hero.
Yeah.
Everybody's just like, fuck this bitch.
And, like she's starting to. It's funny because you know how girls think that guys slut shame a lot.
Yeah.
It's actually the opposite. Like women slut shame women more. What's the first thing Camilla does when she like she's jealous, like, oh, she can like this can't be your husband. He's way too handsome.
Oh yeah.
And then she's like, oh, Forger-san, did you know what she did in the past?
Oh yeah, she goes
brings up
immediately
she was
into the
doing those
massaging,
conjugal
like
visits and
Yeah.
shit
And
like
then
that. Yeah.
Yoda-san is
trying to shame her.
Yoda-san is like, massages were covered for like political killings or something
Yeah,
like
something
that.
like that.
Yeah, but
Once again, we
Lloyd-
see Lloyd
Lloyd
with
comes
that improv.
Lloyd comes in and
He gives her like pride for it.
precisely.
He's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm proud of her for doing
Yeah.
that. That's great.
Yeah, and you know
So
what?
he turns all the negatives that are. It looks like it's actually hurting her, not just her cover.
Mhm.
And he comes in and immediately addresses it and turns it into a positive note.
Yeah, yeah, because that scene too. We get a flashback of his training, and then he thinks, for you to be able to sacrifice yourself for work that might be thankless, it's something to be admired.
Yeah.
I really
Because-
like that.
Yeah,
scene,
because you stick to it, you stick to your duty, right? You honor your responsibilities, and that's something to be admired.
Yeah.
So he,
sure.
like you said, he spends it.
Yeah,
right?
it's like we said earlier. Like they're really making this genuine connection with each other without even knowing.
Yeah, because in the episode you see there are superficial things that Lloyd does that endears Yoda to him, like the scene where my wife's last wish is for my daughter to get into a good school. Like
Yeah.
that was a fake, right? That was a
Right.
misdirection. But in the end, what he said was genuine,
Yes,
right?
for sure.
So that endears Yoda-san to him even more.
Yeah.
And for me, that was that ending right there was definitely the highlight. Although the following scenes could, I could make an argument that was also fantastic, but. Again, I'm a sucker for the relationship development.
Speaking of following scenes, our next session is going to be dope as fuck because we're planning to have our first guest.
Yeah, this is a surprise. This is a surprise for me, but apparently he's worked in the industry before. Cars knows him, and it's gonna be very exciting to be able to interview somebody who's been fairly entrenched within the anime and voice acting industry, and to see how, once again, to see how the back end of this stuff works.
Yeah, so all you people out there that want to get into voice acting with those sweet and subtle voices, tune in.
I do not have a sweet and subtle voice. I hope this comes.
It's okay, Robert. We'll get you there.
No,
I speak like this.
hey,
No.
if there's been one consistent compliment that I've gotten from fans reaching out, it's that at the very least, from their opinions,
I have the face for radio.
No, we don't have annoying radio voices. We have actually very attractive
because
radio.
I have the face for radio.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So, and then we got the R&B king over here.
Any cute girls?
I mean,
According to the viewer statistics, 38% of our viewership are female. So
oh, there you go, fantastic. I'm sure at least some of them are cute.
I mean, that's beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? So they're all cute to somebody. He's just straight up none of them. Nobody. Okay, Hachiman. Anyway,
Kenny's like, I only like girls that look like Yoda-san.
Drop dead.
but yeah, that's pretty much what we got for you for this session. I hope you had a great time. We covered a lot of that Spy Family. We went a lot into the industry and voice actors. And next week we'll follow it up with something even better.
Yeah. Once again, a big thank you to you guys who listen and watch and show your support. Like I said, every single episode, we know that your time is your most valuable commodity, and we appreciate that you invest some of that in us, and we appreciate the support. We appreciate the feedback, even if it's negative. So
feedback helps.
Please keep watching. We're gonna keep producing for you guys. We love talking about this stuff, and we like sharing it with you. So yeah, please very much look forward to the next episode. You can find me at agent_J Schroth on Instagram. That's agent_JSCHROTH. Cars, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram as Cars and Cosplay with underscores, or Twitter, which is Cars and Cosplay without underscores, or carsandcosplay.net, which will include some highlights from the podcast as well.
Kenny, where can you find you, brother?
You can find me at Chipotle later, getting the burrito bowl because
Bro,
I'm
I'm
starving.
hungry.
No, you can find me on Instagram at Sir Kennethy. Change the name, so you want to check me out. It's Sir and then space KENNETHY.
He's so arrogant, sir.
It's all right because I actually put that in the
I gotta bring the medieval times back.
Oh man,
Gotta represent.
Sir Weebles represent.
And one more thing, guys, if you could give the official podcast page a follow. It's Weeb the People 42. Weeb the People 4322 on Instagram and on YouTube as well. It just makes it a little bit easier to find us. So if you could go ahead and follow that page, we would greatly appreciate it.
Are we working on getting the name? Yes, we do.
I will take everything.
Yeah, I reached out to the guys who originally owned the domain name, but I haven't gotten a response back. I offered to purchase the domain name from them, but they're ghosts. They ghosted me.
Well, looks like they're gonna have to drop dead.
Well, you could drop dead or weeb out, weebles.
Weeb out.
That's a good one. All right, guys. Thank you once again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.